us all the insight that you have given him for us. We ask all this in your name, Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Hello. I got here earlier, and I was going to go down the stairs through there to do something. And someone was like, just go that way. I was like, I will distract too many people. I don't dress for quiet. I would have just worn my cap shirt and sweater and so sorry. It's fun to walk through this neighborhood dressed like this. Because they're dressed a certain way and they stare at me. I'm like, for real, bro? For real, bro? I was outside a minute ago and they were dressed like, I don't know, cartoon characters. And they had like bright clothes and crazy hair. I was like, really? You're staring at me? Okay, so, the Bible verse that we're looking at, in Jeremiah, you have to understand, I'm going to give you just 30 seconds of where it's from. The people of Israel have not listened. Okay? They've struggled with their faith, and then they stopped struggling. Struggling with your faith, you're going to see this later, it's not bad. That's what literally the word Israel means. Israel is the man who struggles with God. Okay, that's why they named it that, right? Jacob, when they break his hip, because the angel can't get rid of the angel. Right? You've heard the songs. You know what they say, no te va, you've heard it. So, and if you haven't, someone will tell you. So he struggles with God, and so his descendants are supposed to struggle. But when they stop struggling, when they give up, that's when they get in trouble. And what God does is he gives them, like he does with us, what you ask for. Have you ever been learned to be, do you remember when you learned to be afraid of your parents when they didn't yell at you? It scared the Jesus out of me. I remember, I was like 11 or 12, and we were at McDonald's, which we never went to, and we were on a road trip, so there was nothing else to eat, and at the rest stop, I was like, I want to eat. I was like, okay, what do you want? I said, I want 2 Big Macs. My father, this is not my mom, said, está bien. To this day, I remember going, yeah. There was no fight. And I really think this might be a problem. I was right. It was a problem. But anyway, later on it became a problem. When I was like, I'm full, and then I realized I'm not with my mother. My mother would serve me because she knew what I was going to eat. My father said, you're going to eat what you serve. And I remember, he still laughs about that. He goes, what? So see? So, they stopped struggling, and so they trust in the kings of Egypt. Israel has no real natural borders. North and south. And it has 2 big kingdoms always, north and south. The south has always been Egypt, north is sometimes Babylon, sometimes Persia, whatever, it's somebody. So because they're afraid of the north, they make friends with the south. When you do that, what does the guy in the north do? A word, and he comes in and he stomps you. So he goes in and he conquers, again, Israel, and he takes everyone who's educated in any way. All the priests. Remember, education is common for us now. That's not common. That's not a real thing. That was ancient. So he takes away all the priests, all the royalty, anyone who was a merchant of any skill. Just takes them and makes them slaves back north to Babylon. And he leaves the regular folks. Again, some of us will be like, nice. Not nice. They had no skills. They began to starve almost immediately, in fact. And Jeremiah had told them, he was the one warning them. At one point he stands on the stairs of the temple and has to call out people's sins as they come to the temple. And everybody has to go to the temple. He doesn't want to do it. He's trying to say, I'm not. And it says his bones began to burn until he said it. So it's not like he had a choice. And so, everybody's half hates him because he's right. And you know you hate people more when they're right than when they're wrong. And so, they hate him. And what does the king do? The king does escape, and a few other priests escape, and they go south to Egypt. And they kidnap Jeremiah. They drag him with them. And Jeremiah disappears from history. We're pretty sure he got killed. We don't know. We're pretty sure we know the priest who did it. Yes, it was a priest. Next time when he pushes my buttons, think of Jeremiah. He ended him. No, we don't know what happened before Jeremiah. He dies in Egypt somewhere. That's all we know. But before there's destruction, the king comes back to see it. The land is gone. The land is destroyed. Everybody who wants to live there can, but with what? No farmers? America would be the same thing, right? If you took away all our farmers, we make fun of the Midwest at our own stupidity. We would only eat and survive because of those people. If they all went away, we would have about 4 days before we had insanity. There's some sociologists said the United States is always 3 meals away from anarchy. was like, because most people don't keep that much food in their homes. And the ones who do, other people don't, so they share, so there's less. So about 3 meals. That's not even a full day, right? That's not even full 2 days. We're about 3 meals away. So when he leaves, Jeremiah gives this prophecy. He says, tell the people, go north. He sends a message. He says to them, the passage we heard, I have plans for you. Not for your sorrow, but for your joy. When you seek me with your whole heart, you will find me. And the verse goes on. You'll hear about the rest later. Why do I give that context? Always, first of all, you read the Bible, just random. Don't do that. That's bad. Bad theology. At least look at the parts around it, just because it might speak to you, but also because it gives you context. In other words, he says, when you seek me, you will find me. I have plans for your joy. But he's not talking to someone like a mother to her child in the cradle, which would say the same thing. A mother could say that. He's saying that to someone in horror, in pain, in blood. It's someone who's been abandoned as far as they understand from God. And he's like, I still love you and I have plans for you. So you understand the level of trust that's needed is much higher than if a mother was whispering that to her baby. Or a father said that to his son and he smiled and says, I got plans for you, kid. Wait till you get older. This is in the middle of horror that he speaks. And then what does he say? When you seek me with your whole heart, you will find me. I'm around, but you can't find me until you look for me with your whole heart. Let's start there. When you seek me with your whole heart. Why with your whole heart? Why not when you look for me? When you're sorry, I'll start over. God demands intensity. God demands intensity. He does not tolerate anything by halves. He doesn't. And I'm sorry, if you need that in your religion, you need another religion. You probably need no religion. Because religion itself means to tie yourself, to bind yourself to something. Right? Religio, to bind yourself to something. Okay? So if you have a problem with God demanding of you, then you have a problem. You have a problem. That's all I have to say. I'll see you on the other side. Let me know how it works out for you. The thing is, and we'll get to why you need to learn that and imitate it in a minute, but God demands intensity when you seek Him with your whole heart. Here's the thing. The struggle is the key. It's not that the goal, what you're looking for is not as important as your struggle for it. What you're looking for is not as important as the struggle for it. Okay? I promise, and it's important, and if you forget everything I've ever said to you, ever, that will help you so much more. The struggle is very real. The struggle is what you're looking for, and what you're looking for is the struggle. You got me there? I'm not trying to be Yoda. I'm trying to literally tell you. I'm going to walk out, and you'll see why it matters for you, ladies, why it matters for you. No, it matters more for you than for me. No, it doesn't. It matters for me. It's just different. Okay. The struggle is important. And you remember when you were a child and you learned your faith? The problem is what? You were a child, so we taught you according to childhood. Now you're older, and some of us didn't learn catechesis or faith or religion or theology or anything else. So we're like, it doesn't work. Well, because you learned it at a level you were ready. Now you're ready for more. So when you were a child, you said Jesus loves you. When you got older, you realized you don't always feel it. You're like, hey, what? Even when you do the right thing, you don't always feel it. Hey, a lot of people quit there. St. John of the Cross and Teresa Bible say a lot of people reach the fourth mansion and they quit because they don't feel it anymore. And they go up and then they quit. And they go up and their whole life is that. Then, when you were a child, you said, look for Jesus. And you were taught to look for Him in the sacraments, right? Communion. Best thing about teaching little kids. This is Jesus. Okay. End of theological discussion. It's fantastic. I love it. This is Jesus. Yeah. Okay. You're going to eat it. Okay. When? May 12th. Okay. That's it. Can I do it all the time? Yep. Okay. That's it. It's the best. Oh, I love it. As an adult, you're like, well, I don't understand. Where's theological reality? How much of it? I remember hearing atheists. I like walking and talking with atheists because they speak for a lot of people. And they're not a lot of atheists. They're just dumb like a lot of people are dumb. There's a difference. And don't feel bad. I'm not calling you dumb only. Me too. Well, yeah, I'm calling you dumb. I'm sorry. No, I am. I'm sorry. I am. We all are. Okay? I am too. The difference is I actually pretend I know what I'm doing. I have a master's in theology. What a ridiculous title. A master's in theology. What a ridiculous title. I know God. Sure. You sit there, God. I know what's going on. No. So, the thing is, You have to learn what? You have to learn to look for him a little bit more, even without that feeling. And you have to learn how to look for him in other places than just the sacraments. Unless you want to live in the church. I do. Still got to look for him in other places. Okay? Just heads up. You can live in the church. I do. Still got to look for him in other places. And so what you learned as a child was okay, but you need more. So why does he make you look for hope? Because the struggle is actually what he wants you to do. Great quote. The world promises you comfort, but you are not made for comfort. You were made for greatness. Oh. I don't have tattoos. If I was going to get one, that would be one. Right here. I can read it in the mirror. I'd be like, yeah, wake up in the morning, woo! And then color my hair for the rest of the day. Completely useless priesthood. So, you were not made for comfort, you were made for greatness. So that's why he says, seek me. First of all, why didn't he just present himself? Because the struggle is part of who you will be. It's making you who you are. And also because you're not made for comfort, you're made for greatness. That's why he gives you free will. Not just to choose what you want, but to choose accordingly. What? To learn how to choose well. He forces you to do it. Because you have to be. It's amazing. God is very much your father. He gives you what you want. I wanted those 2 Big Macs. And my friends were there because we were dropping them off in Providence. And I was like, dude, you want some? My father was like, no. He didn't yell, he just looked, no. That scared me way more. I'm used to my parents yelling, maybe throwing stuff, you know? Hit me, but no. The greatness costs effort, costs struggle. And as you struggle, you grow. The struggle is what's good for you. The next part then that leads into what? Then the struggle helps you understand your identity as daughters. And here, ladies, is you. You. Not me. In that struggle and in requiring, in demanding struggle and intensity, women reflect God better than men. In the demand for intensity and love, women reflect God better than men. Don't believe me? Look at your bodies. Look at science. Whenever a priest quotes science to you, you have lost. You have already lost the argument. Ready? I'm going to even quote you one better. Whenever a priest points to evolution to make his point, you lost. You lost bad. Evolution made women different than men in a very specific way. Men can mate with hundreds of partners over a very brief amount of time. Men can produce offspring with a virtually unlimited number of partners at the same time. Not at once, but like consecutively. And it does nothing to him. He gets up and he's like, woo! He's fine. I mean, whatever. Anyway. It's okay. It's okay. Women cannot. Next time you see the episode of Sex and the City, Can Women Really Date Like Men? Don't waste your time. You can't. That's not right. Men can't do women's stuff women can do. So stop it. We are equal, not the same. Stop it. Science tells you that. Evolution tells you that. Now what do you mean? Why can't I date? Because you hold the offspring for 9 months. And as you do, you become weaker. You become in danger. And once the child is born, you're really in danger. You have to protect that child. You have to stay in the bottom of the cave and make sure nothing else comes in to eat your child. While you're really pregnant, if an animal comes, you're dead. It's not a question. Once you give birth, your body is weak because it's given so much to the child. And I don't just mean the actual moment of birth. Afterward, a woman needs to rebuild a lot of the nutrition that her body is given to that child. So science tells you what? You need to find a mate that is worthy, that is trustworthy. Because he has to look out for you while you raise children. It's simple science. I haven't mentioned God in that entire part. I feel bad so many times where people don't understand that, and we have children and women who are in danger because they didn't understand that. Maybe not lions and bears anymore. There's plenty of dangers outside on 14th Street. And a woman with a newborn is helpless in front of some of those dangers. That's why you have to be, this is where I say you reflect God, as demanding as he is intensity, in the intensity of love. You see, you reflect God differently than me. You have to say, I don't trust you yet. And push on a guy until he pushes back. Until he stands up or he's left behind. Mene mene tekel upharsin. Another tattoo I don't have, but I would. It means you have been, it's a prophecy that Daniel sees. You have been weighed, you have been measured, you have been weighed, and you have been found wanting. Ooh! You have been measured, you have been weighed, and you have been found wanting. God the Father with his finger writes it on the wall of the king's palace. He has this terrifying moment, and he says, I need somebody to interpret this dream, this vision. And Daniel is the only one who can. That's how the king then respects him. You have been measured, you have been weighed, and you have been found wanting. Honestly, you have to be that way. Women reflect that, unlike men. That's why guys have to buy flower for women. That's why guys have to say nice things to women. That's why guys have to write poems. That's why guys have to build stuff. That's why guys have to give stuff. That's why guys have to show up. That's why guys have to pick you up. That's why guys have to pay. That's why guys have to do all that stuff. And ladies, this is a woman's retreat. If it was a men's retreat, guys go, I don't like it. Get out. I have zero tolerance. Get out, and I usually would use words that I can't use because you're ladies. But there's all kinds of words. I'm mediocre. I have zero tolerance for them because they don't want to fulfill their role in evolution. They don't want to fulfill their role in God's plan. Get out. You are useless garbage, and I will treat you as such. That's why guys have to do that. Well, I don't know. I think you guys just mean to guys. Be a mom. I win. I don't know, well, it's pretty hard on guys. Well, be a mom. I win. Because you care for the future and you put your life and live at risk. That's why you reflect God's intensity. That's back to the point was, why does God require you to live for him with your whole heart? He's teaching you something, ladies. That's how it has to be. A man must look for you, not mostly, not a lot, not really like you, not care for you. Can't stand that. I care for you, man. Guy tells me that, I'm like, bro, you didn't say that out loud. Well, I said, you said I care for you? Yeah. I'm not supposed to speak to the dead. That's forbidden in the Bible. I'm speaking with dead names. Bye-bye. That's a sin. I'm not supposed to talk to the dead. Good luck. You said that. No. I care for you. I'm insane for you. I love you. I do anything for you. I die for you, or worse, I live for you. That is how it's meant to be. It has to be. If you cannot demand as God demands, then you put yourself and the rest of humanity in danger. Because remember, it matters. Who will provide for you when you cannot provide? Who will care for you when you cannot care? And who will look out for you when you're busy looking out for somebody else? Well, I can provide for myself. Yep. How's that work? How's that working out for the people who say, I don't need it and I'm fine? There are many women who have done amazing things as single moms. Should they have had to do that? There's a difference there. You can excel at something in an unfair game. You can even beat an unfair game. But the game is still unfair. You got me? Because I know some of us are like, wait, that's not nice. I'm not being nice. I'm being nicer than anybody you've ever known. Just maybe you're not used to it. That's not fair. Someone created that child with you and you skipped off. There's a price he has to pay. You don't worry about that. God's justice is always good.
Amen. Amen.
But the thing is, you have to set that bar. That justice cuts both, that knife cuts both ways. You have to set that bar. You have to demand of him. So why does God make you say, seek me with your whole heart? Well, because you have to learn from him. In your seeking, you will grow. We'll get to that now. But first, you have to learn how to make others seek you. By the way, you can make God seek you as well. That's for later in the day. But you can make God seek you as well. That's part of it. He's a gentleman. So, this helps you understand your identity. And so, in that danger, in that reality, a woman, what? She's just like God. You can find women, ladies, you know this, I'm a guy. You can see women and talk to women, but did you really find her heart? No. She's nice. You say he's just a friend. He's nice. And you've got, how many guys are like, yeah, I got this. And I'm like, It's hard days to be a priest. This isn't one of them. This is fun. Give me the popcorn. I think I got this. Well, I don't understand. I'm like, you never did, pal. You never did. It's just the same. You can find her, just like you can find God in the sacraments. Do you feel her? Not always. As she should be. She needs to. It's not just her right, it's her need. So you learn your identity as daughters because you have to be like God. You have to set that bar nice and high. Why do I have notes, by the way? Because it keeps me short. Otherwise, I'll keep going forever and ever and ever. Now, how do you look for Him? Okay, Father, I accept that the struggle is part of my growth. I accept that it's also to teach me, or part of my growth is that I learn to make others struggle if they want my heart. Now, how do I look for Him? Now, let's go back to you in your relationship with God. This is actually really simple, but the hardest things in life are simple. The hardest things in life are simple. Love is simple. It's hard. It's really simple. There's basically two things. One, clean your heart. Your heart can't find His heart, God's heart, if it's full of other things. You can't hold something if your hands are busy with stuff. So first, clean your heart. You have to get rid of distractions. You need clarity, then you need clarity in your heart. You can't have it both ways. I told you, God doesn't do anything by halves. So you have to remove what? Well, first, get rid of distractions like sin. Get rid of it. The whole of the first part of the spiritual life, first three mansions, or St. John of the Cross's first way is the purgative way. Purge, clean your heart. If you do that, you move up very quickly. It's really hard. I know. I didn't say it was easy. I said the struggle is necessary. Well, that's too hard. Then you need to find some other religion. And by the way, I checked. None of them's easy. That's why you have a growing group of people who go, I just don't want to struggle. I'm spiritual but not religious. That's what that means. I know there's more to the world, but I'm not going to tie myself, binding religio, to tie myself to it. How's that as a friend? You're cool people, but I can't do anything for you. Yo, girl, you hot. You nice. It's good. I mean, can we go out? I don't even know. Nah, I don't want to do that. How's that work out in your other relationships, being spiritual but not religious? So you see, it matters. You can't love God by halves, so you have to look at what? Let me be more specific. Get rid of this. Let me help you more specific. Look at habits. What's a habit? A repeated action. That's all. What are your habits? Look at patterns in your life. If you, every night, go through your day, how did it go? Bad and good. Don't only go bad on it. That's another danger that you can't fall into. But don't only look at what you've done well. Look at both. Ask God to be with you when you do it, and He'll help you. He'll help you look at both. What you begin to do if you do it every night, even if it's just for a week, what you'll find is patterns then. When I'm around certain people, I'm a better person. When I'm around certain people, I'm not a better person. It matters. When this topic comes up, I'm better. When this topic comes up, I'm not better. That matters. I'm really bad at this obligation. I haven't fulfilled it at all this week. That matters. Look for patterns. Then you'll begin to eliminate, right? Purge, to purgative, to clean part of your heart. Look at relationships. I promise, if you just get rid of bad sins and bad patterns and bad habits in your life, God actually helps you with relationships. That's what's called the 4th, 5th, and 6th mansions in St. Teresa of Avila. Or the second way, the second level for John of the Cross, the illuminative way. That's when God begins to do stuff for you. It's pretty cool. Why did He do it at the beginning? The struggle is important. But once you get to a certain point, He begins to remove it. Some of you have been through that. You get serious about your spiritual life, and people who are a problem with you, relationally, just kind of go away. You're like, I didn't have to get rid of that person, just kind of went away. When people tell me that, I go, shh, just keep going. You got a free one, just go. Just run hard while it's free, because there ain't nothing free that long. Okay, take it, and then just keep going. It's a grace. He does help you, but you have to struggle to get to there. But you do have to get rid of it. And some relationships you'll get rid of, but sometimes you got to do the first step, like lessen them in your life. Cut down the frequency of contact. All relationships are like plants. They grow with water. The water is contact, communication. The less communication, the more withered the relationship becomes. That's a law of life. With any relationship, family included. Don't talk to your parent for 6 months. The relationship will wither. I don't know if it'll die, but it'll be weak. Okay? This is the easiest way to ever say to somebody in your life, cut contact. All contact. All contact. Well, but we have to stop it. You're wasting my time. That's a real bad problem for you. Okay? You're wasting my time. You're like, well, Father, I should, but we have to stop it. You're wasting my time, and that I won't tolerate. I've already wasted enough of God's time. Don't waste mine. Stop. Communicate. What if it's awkward? Good, then there's the struggle. See paragraph A. You've done the right thing. Maybe that relationship starts withering. Maybe that's God helping out. Okay, but you have to cut people, you have to cut things, you have to cut habits. So, step one, clarify what's going on in your heart. Then you'll have clarity in your spiritual vision. Once your compass, your spiritual compass, doesn't have any more false magnets that it's attracted to, it will point to true north. We're made for it. Remember, you're created for God. So all you have to do is get rid of the fake magnets around you, and your compass always will point toward Him. It's actually shockingly, amazingly easy. Because you're made for it. You're born for it. You're born for greatness. What is greater than God? So you just have to get rid of the garbage. And all of a sudden, it'll just point true north every time. Now what? Well, now you're pointing in the right direction, but you got to move in that direction. Right? People like things, or they hope in God, and I said this in this room a few months ago. People like things and they hope in God, and they go, right, Father, I got faith. No, you don't. What? If you're not moving, it's not faith. Hoping, that's not bad. That's one of the 3 theological virtues. But you have to move, and then it becomes faith. If you forget that, remember, we walk by faith, is what St. Paul said, and not by sight. Walking is involved. If you're still, you have tons of hope. But you have to walk. That means what? In your spiritual life? Prayer. All relationships are based in communication. How's your relationship with God if you're not communicating with Him? Well, that's your relationship too. If you don't know you're in a relationship with God, how's that? What's that say about that relationship? I'm in a relationship with X person. They don't know who I am, and I haven't spoken with them. But we're definitely in a relationship. We're a thing. We're a thing. If you're in a relationship with God and you didn't know that until right now, I know how that goes. So, you've got to act on your relationship. Prayer. You have to speak, and you have to listen. How do I listen? Well, the rosary is the easiest, most steadfast, most sure way to do meditation. It's a no-brainer, and the greatest theologians lived by it, and the simplest child can learn. It's crazy how easy the rosary is. Well, the rosary is hard for me. See paragraph 1. That's why I started with that, because now you're like, oh. Yeah. You have to. It's worth the struggle. I will tell you this. Think of the rosary as 15 minutes with your mother. So even if you don't finish it in 15 minutes, you're done. Wait, Father said we don't have to finish the rosary? No. Father said, you're going to give time to Mary to help her teach you how to love her son. If you're struggling and and at the end of 15 minutes you're like, fine, put it in your pocket, you've done your rosary. Because that's if it's really hard. Some people, fine. I'm going to do 15 minutes with Mary. However long those 15 minutes I get done. 20 minutes with Mary. Is that ideal? No, but if you have ideal, you don't need that rule, so keep it moving. This is for the people who are struggling with it, okay? But you're going to give it 20 minutes, maybe. You're going to go, or 15 minutes, you're going to go through. Boredom is at the edge of inspiration. Those of you who have gone with me on the retreat I give every January, the silent retreat, Friday night, first thing I always go over is, why is it silent? Why should you be silent? I'm not going to check on you. I don't collect phones. That's some nonsense. It's adults, so no. I don't stop you if I catch you talking. It's adults, so no. And I go, you're adults. It's your money you're wasting. It's fine with me. I don't care. I don't get none of it, but I don't care. I need pay. I got a weekend away from parish, whatever. I light my pipe and I watch sunset every morning, and that's enough for me for the weekend. But if you come with me to the retreat, what do I always say? At the edge of boredom is where you meet God. Where does God live? Go through boredom. And right at the edge of that country is where you'll meet Him. Because then you're completely empty. You give up, right? Full real boredom. You're like, oh, I just make noises. That's because you're reading right there. He's like on the other side of it. You gotta keep going, and then all of a sudden you get free. And He's like, hey, what's going on? Why didn't you meet me over there? Yeah, you're starting to follow. Well, but you could have just shown yourself. And paragraph 1. There you go. Because you have to go through it. Why? Because He means you love Him. How much? All the way. Why? The struggle will help you, and for you, ladies, He's teaching you what you need to demand. By the way, what does it do for men? It teaches men that they have to be valiant and it's worth the struggle. When you make a man struggle for you, and I don't say be mean, that's absurd. That's ridiculous and sinful. No. But when you make him show that he loves you with his whole heart, You're purifying him. When men come to me and it glows, it takes on the luminescence of the fire. Well, the fathers of the church pointed that out 2,000 years ago. So we have to be there. Does it destroy the fire? Parts of it, yeah. Parts of the wood? Absolutely. It's consumed, but as it's consumed, it glows itself. If you blow on it, it glows. So you're helping him, you're purifying him. And he has to purify his intention. Because none of us do anything with one intention. None of us do anything with one intention. Which is too hard for us. We have multiple ones. But loving another person is too sacred to do with anything else but that one intention. So you've got to burn it away. So it helps him. But that's for the boys' retreat. Okay, so the men's retreat. So your prayer life. First amongst your prayer life must be your sacramental life. Okay? Are your sacraments on point? If they're not, then I already know your heart is not clear. Then is how's your prayer life? Something. I don't care what it is. Pick a minimum and make that your minimum. Not your goal. Don't 20 rosaries a day, 5 spiritual books a week. It's ridiculous. Go to minimum. Sometimes in our Father Big Mary's is a lot. No, it's not, Father. Wait till you're really spiritually dry. In our Father Big Mary's is like the tortures of hell. That's it. Some minimum, and then you don't go under that minimum, no matter what. You can go over, but you never go under. Now you're starting to grow. Now what you've done is you've taken him by the hand and let him show you where he is, as opposed to him dragging you through. You're a step ahead of Israel. Remember, they had to go through what they wanted. They thought they wanted friends on this earth, so he gave friends on this earth. They realized friends on this earth weren't as strong as the Babylonians. Now he says, now when you seek me, I will defend you and I'll bring you back. Okay. Then, your spiritual reading, it's an important thing. You have to do something spiritual. You have to feed your soul, not just with the sacraments. You have to feed your soul with something in it. Right? Go to formed.org. I've been banging on that drum for a lot. Go to formed.org and register, and then listen to the talks. Just play it in your car. If you have an iPhone, you have an app. If you don't, wait, don't get one. Okay? I don't have an iPhone, look at one. Or don't use iPhone because you're... No, that's weird. That's not. I didn't. I'm sorry. I kind of did, but I didn't. I don't. They're not bad. They're whatever. Okay, so what you don't want to do, and then the last thing is this. You got to look at facts in your life. Too many of us are driven by emotion. We have developed a world of relativism. We were warned by that by Pope Benedict XVI. The same person who said the other quote about grace. He said, we've developed a world of relativism where my emotions matter than everything else. It's wrong. Plenty of men beat their wives and feel like they love them. Why you gotta pick a mean example? Because I want it to be very, very clear to you. Emotions don't tell you stuff. Facts do. How are you doing? Look at the virtues in your life, not how you feel. Right? Feeling is easy. And generally speaking, when you feel something easy, it's like a video game. You should stop. Right? Any of you ever play video games and you see a room with a whole bunch of stuff on the floor? You should stop. Because that means the next room has something special for you. That's why you have all the stuff here. Okay? When you do anything that's really, really easy, stop and think to yourself, what's happening? So measure your virtues. It means what are you doing? Virtues is a habit, a good habit. It means a repeated action. How are you when you treat the people around you daily? How are you when you treat not strangers? You only see them once in a while, they don't count. How do you treat the people around you daily, day-to-day people? Okay? Check your habits. Then your emotions will help you afterward. And ladies, here's another difference between you and men, which can be really helpful. We'll get to them in a second. So first, you're going to look, is it sinful, right? This is a simple quiz I tell people all the time. One, is it, when you have a doubt about something, what you do about it? One, is it sinful? Then don't do it. Stop. No, do not have to go. Don't ever quiet. I don't know if I should with this guy. Is it sinful? Yeah, then don't. But stop. Your emotions are still struggling, but the fact is real. Two, is it binding? The opposite question. Do you have to do it? Did you say you were going to do it? Did you give your word? Is it part of your obedience to your state of life? Like, are you a mom? Or a daughter? Did you promise something? Yeah, then you have to do it. But it's over. If you get past question 1 and question 2, does it help you develop your vocation? So if you have 2 options and they're not sinful, and you have 2 options and neither of them is binding, and you're still not sure, then the last one, which one's going to help you develop your vocation? Your vocation as maybe a mother, or maybe a religious, as a daughter, as a sister. Your vocation as a catechist, your vocation as a server. Your vocation as a person who helps in the community. Your vocation as your employment, if it's a real employment that you really want to ennoble. Right? If it's not just a job you got for the summer or something, but if it's a job you want to ennoble, a teacher, right? Then does it help that? Then that's probably what you should do. You got it? 1, 2, 3. So the last thing is this. ask yourself, does this relationship or habit or decision get me closer or further from God? Those three summarizing that. Okay? So the last point is this. When I find him, how do I know? Now is where your emotions come in. After you've clarified your heart of nonsense, cleared it, after you're moving, now you can listen to your heart. This is where women have another advantage over men. Look at the mystics of the world. You've heard me say this 1,000 times. Almost every single mystic, a person who understands and speaks to God directly, okay? Super rare. Almost every single mystic that has ever existed has been a woman. In fact, the men are so rare, I could probably name them on one hand and have a couple fingers left over. We're very few. We're good for dying for God. Almost all martyrs are men. We die for you. I can do that. It's true. But then God's like, yeah, but I just want to talk to you. And God's like, I want to show you my feelings. We're not good at it. We're just not, right? It's not. So it's okay. We're different. That's okay. We're equal but different. You help me and I help you. That's how it works. But women, look at the great poetry of the church. Look at the great mystical writings of the church. Look at the great spiritual masters. There's more men only because writing was given to men most of the time. But look at their context, and the men are what I just did. Saints. Look at the women. And you're like, where's the saint? And then she's like, look behind you. You're like, I'm a saint! Okay. And that happens as you follow. Those of you who read John of the Cross and Teresa of Avila, you know the difference. Teresa gets off on her little wandering moments. You're like, I don't understand her. And I laugh and go, keep it going. But trust me, that's the point. So what? So what I'm saying is this. You seek him with your whole heart. The struggle is part of telling you who you are as his son or daughter, and specifically who you are as his daughter. Okay? You clarify your heart. You have to get rid of God. You want to clarify your vision, excuse me. You have to clear your heart. That's better. Words are coming out wrong. More coffee. You need to clear your heart if you want to clear your vision. So that how do you find him? And you got to be practical about your prayer life, your sacramental life. Right? You got rid of the sin, that's clearing your heart. And then you got to work on the grace to grow. And then last but not least, then you tap. And what you will find at the bottom of all of these steps is peace. The struggle you have done, when it burns away everything else, is peace. You're now glowing. You're now the wood in the fire that's glowing. You become part and parcel of the fire. So when he says, you will find me, you will know. Let's stand and finish with a prayer. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Lord, direct us in our thoughts, our words, and in our actions, that they might begin with your grace, continue, and end bringing us closer. We ask this as we ask all things through Christ our Lord. Amen. Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
May God bless you, the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Amen.